Yo, yo, yo. Good morning. Well, good morning over here in the States. Good afternoon if you're across the pond. Ola is in the building with the Southern Gooner. How you doing, my brother?
Yeah, what's good? What's good? Thank you for having me, man. This is a real pleasure, man. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say surprised, but I was happy when you actually reached out and I said, yeah, let's do this, man. You know what I mean? I'm always happy to talk Arsenal, and I know you're a big fan of the club and the sport. So yeah, it's great sitting here talking football with you.
Likewise, man. Likewise. I've been wanting to get together, man. And I finally got a little bit of time off. So it's been hard the last month or two because most folks know I'm a photographer, so I'm always traveling. And
Right.
so finally got a couple of running days where I'm actually off so I can start doing some stuff with the channel, man. And I had been wanting to work with you there for a while. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna reach out to Ola and see what he's got going on, man. And you were like, yeah, we can do it. And I was like, good. We don't have a game Saturday. We playing Sunday. So I was like, you know what, we can talk and have a good time, man. So I was more than elated when you said that you could do it, man. So I really
No, man, I'm extremely grateful to be on here with you, man. Thank you for having me on.
yeah, man. Yep. So I've been following you since my alter ego McDowell's. For those who, if you know, you know.
Oh yeah.
If you know, you know. And
Mm.
I'll tell you the story, man. Chig had reached out to me right before he passed, man. And he was we were actually getting ready to start doing some stuff together, man. And so that's
Mm.
kind of just funny how if things worked out where we all still wind up working together and things of that magnitude, man. So
Yeah, man, that's what's up. Like I said in the run, man. Chig reached. I mean, it touched a lot of people, man.
yeah,
People don't realize how much that brother,
yeah,
how many people that brother touched, man. You know, what I mean, in the positive way as well. And he brought a lot of people together, and when you look at it, he be looking down, thinking, you know what? I'm glad you guys still got a lot of things going on that I wanted to do that we talked about doing and an extension of that is the 5 week show as well. That I run because we did have the combat show together, and yeah, extension of it is what we currently got going on. The watch alongs that we got going on with Lee Gunner. You coming on there as well and contributing to the show. So
yeah.
yeah, man, this is it's all brilliant, and we love it. We love it.
Hey man. So I appreciate that, brother. Everybody in the chat, appreciate y'all coming through, man. Look, I got a ton. I'm gonna get to these comments in just a second, y'all. There's a ton of them flowing in, so y'all bear with me, and we'll get to those. But shout out to Carl Rossi, Tony Barr in the building. Arsenal Forever came through earlier this morning. Jaminho is in the building. What's up, my boy?
Yeah.
And everybody else, Anthony. and so everybody's in the building. The Rat Army is here.
Yeah.
Uh, Ola, tomorrow. Last week people were saying, last week was a must win. Well, guess what? Tomorrow is a must win. If you want to keep that 0.002% of us winning the title alive, tomorrow we play Brighton, and I would expect, considering what happened to Brighton last week, Brighton's going to come into this game tomorrow like a mad hornet's nest, man. What's your take on tomorrow, man?
Um, I wish they didn't lose so bad last week. I wish they didn't lose so bad to Leeds, because they're gonna be coming with a point to prove, and we're gonna have to deal with that. It makes it a much more difficult game for Arsenal. One or two things is gonna happen. We either kick them while they're down, or they're coming back up with a vengeance, and we gotta have the mindset to deal with it. We gotta have the resilience to soak up whatever pressure that they're gonna come with. But what gives me a little bit of hope is they play open. They're not gonna go banks of double fours, park the bus and stuff like. They're gonna want to play. They're gonna want to play some football. So that gives me hope, because that's gonna leave some spaces in behind, and spaces for us to play, and try and find a way through. But Brighton, as we've seen this season, you can say Brighton by name, but when you actually look at the football that they play on the pitch, they don't play like Brighton. They don't play like the Brighton that we're used
Yeah,
to
yeah,
seeing.
yeah.
New, this is a new era Brighton, and it's not a fluke. They've been doing this since um, Graham Potter really took over, and before Chelsea came and I wanted to say ruin everything for them, but instead they got even better. When they took Graham Potter, I thought, oh, what's gonna become of Brighton now? What's gonna happen to this club? And lo and behold, they brought in this manager. I never heard of him before. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know who the fuck Deserbi is. You know what I mean?
I
And
think
this
he was in the Bundesliga. When he in the Bundesliga, I think he was in the Bundesliga, if I'm not mistaken.
wow,
But
I ain't even know, right? And and this guy turns up. He's even doing better than what Graham Potter was doing. And I thought, oh my god! Now they lost a really good player in Trossard that we now have within our ranks, and still they still maintaining the levels of football that that we've been seeing from them all season. And they're a really good side. They're a really good side, and fair play to them. They've done fantastic. Yeah, Jamino says he's come from Shaka.
Shakhtar.
So yeah, there you go. And like I said, I don't watch those leagues, so I don't know those guys. I didn't know who the fuck Mudrik was till he started twerking for us. So I'm just being real with it. I only watch a Prem. I barely watch any game that's not Arsenal. You know what I mean? The only reason I'll probably watch other teams if their results directly affect us, then I'll watch those games. Or if it's a game, if it's a team that we're looking to play, then I look at it as a sort of scouting sort of game. Even in European fixtures. So for me, I'm so tunnel vision on Arsenal. I love my club as you do, and we just wanted to do well, man. And sometimes we get a lot of flack for demanding so much of the club. That's an elite club, but this is what we came up on. This is
Yeah,
what we grew up on. And the world's changing, football's changing, and it's a little bit difficult to adjust to the mindset of this, to the new age fan, if you like. But some of the old values of football should still prevail,
yeah.
I think.
Uh,
And I don't we get constant barrage online for wanting the club to do well, at least by our standards anyways.
yeah.
So but hey, it is what it is.
It
We still
is.
gonna say what we're gonna say.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. Like I said, when you grew up on greatness, man, just you expect greatness, man. Brighton, man, let me tell you, Brighton has been one of the joys to watch the last 3 years, actually 3 or 4 years, man. Like you said, the brand of football they play, it makes the game enjoyable. They don't just, pack it in 15, 12, 13, 14 at the back and just sit back there and, you have to go over the top and up. They are on the front foot. They're going to play with you and they make it an enjoyable watch, man. And also, man, they have got to have one of the best scouting systems in the Premier League for them to find these players. Salcedo, even what's his name that went over to Chelsea, but he Coca can't
Cucurella.
Cucurella, yeah. He that unfortunately didn't work out for him over at Chelsea, but before that, man, he was cooking. You know, Trossard, like he said, Trossard, he's been over there for a while, and he's been cooking, man. Now you got the other fella, Matoma, is over there doing this thing now. And then they've always had a kind of a stout defensive back line, with Dunk and all those guys. So they have really adjusted to the Premier League, and it's quite amazing, man. Because most teams that come up from the championship, they don't, outside of maybe Leicester, but back in a couple years ago, uh, Brighton has come right up and was like, you know what? Not only are we going to stay up, but we're going to compete, and it's always refreshing to see. Now, Ola, with some news came down yesterday. Of course, Saliba, we all, I had been saying, being a 41-year-old man myself, anytime the back is involved, if anybody can give you some insight on what a bad back can feel like, or a back injury, I'm one to do it. Trust me, when you get a back injury, you're looking at least 3 to 9 months, depending on what it is. So I knew he wasn't coming back. But then we got news that Zinchenko, which I don't think a lot of people are going to be complaining about, for the remainder of the year. And so we know what that means. That means that Kieran Tierney is going to finish out this season. And I think a lot of us for the last several weeks have been calling for him to start anyway. So that in a sense, unfortunately for Zinchenko, he's injured. And of course, you know how Arsenal injuries are. A one injury could be for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. You just never know with us. So do we do of course Tierney's going to start tomorrow. I'm going to ask you a twofold question. We know he's starting tomorrow, and we know he's going to have an impact. But what does this do? And we'll touch on this again too later on. But what does this do with Arteta and Nebraska keeping him at the club now? Because there was talk about him leaving, but now you're in a situation where, you gonna sell this guy, or are y'all gonna try to move on? What you think gonna happen with this, man?
Look, for me, with Kieran Tierney, as you said, a lot of us has been calling for him to start games. We've seen defensively some of the deficiencies that Zinchenko actually bringing. Offensively, great player, but that's not what we bought him for. That's not his job title, right? You're a defender first. Then whatever you do after that, it's like a bonus. But what we're getting from Zinchenko, at least from the game state that we've seen him play this season, and he's played he's been involved in some really, really good wins that we've had. And I'm not trying to knock that. But when we purchase a player as a left back, you expect him to do his primary job to the best of his ability. Now, if you look at some of the goals that we considered, especially those 4 games that we're now behind Man City for, every time we concede a goal on his side of the pitch, whether they have either crossing in, whether they run through, Zinchenko is never in the frame. You never see him in the frame of the picture. I say it all the time. And in those games, he hurt more because you're thinking, damn, we're throwing away all this cushion that we've built on some really, really defensive mistake. And look, I'm not singling out Zinchenko here. I'm just talking in regards to the injury and why people are going to be happy to see Kieran Tierney come on, because it wasn't just him. Thomas Partey was just as bad, in some of those games that that was just calling out. So Zinchenko, in a way, it started to manifest itself why Pep was happy to sell him to us. But if you look at earlier part of the season, Pep was getting a lot of flack,
Mm-hmm.
at least from our world of content creators, anyways, that I've seen, and I've seen even some pundits talk about it. That Pep selling Zinchenko and Jesus to us essentially gave us the title. But when you start saying what what Zinchenko is really about defensively, you say, "Oh, Pep, okay, I get where you're coming from now. I see why you was like, yeah, have him, you know." And it's strange. It's strange. If Zinchenko can say get an opportunity in the midfield, then I'll be more for giving Kieran Tierney, offer him a new contract if he knows he's going to be if you know he's going to be starting, as a left back most of the time, because I think he's the better one, defensively minded, anyways, in terms of defending, you know, some of the dangers that comes our way. So I'm happy Kieran Tierney is starting. I've wanted to see him.
Likewise.
My very good friend Lee Gunner, he texted me yesterday, said, "Oh, just keep the wet floor signs on." You know what I mean? My left back, my this, my that. I'm like, oh my god. So one mind, I'm thinking I can't deal with this guy for 3.5 hours every time talking about his left back.
Yeah, our left
But
back.
but deep down, deep down, I'm happy that Kieran Tierney is starting. So it's 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 good for us. I think it's going to be good for us, especially with the game that we got against Brighton. We're going to need somebody defensively minded, because we know Brighton are going to come at us. We're going to be able to. We got to be able to soak up that pressure. We got to be able um to deal with adversity when it comes at us, and in return show them why we've been as good as we've been all season. Um, it's a difficult game. It's a difficult game, and with Zinchenko, I wouldn't lose no sleep if we sold him in the summer. I'm telling you right
I
now.
mean, I'm right there with you, man. I quite frankly think that Zinchenko. I think Zinchenko. If we were gonna keep this young man, he needs to be played through the midfield. He doesn't need to be played at left back anymore. As long as he's playing at Arsenal, I mean, I guarantee. I told Jez. I think it was Jez, either Gary. I told one of them recently. I said, if Arsene Wenger was still managing this football club, he would be a midfielder. I said just because I just know how Arsene Wenger is. He would have taken right out of that left back and put him right in midfield.
I mean, he was the king of converting players. It convert them from a midfielder to maybe a left winger or right winger, a winger to striker. I mean, he was one of those managers that that really brought that to life, and one of the most prominent ones that we saw was Thierry Henry, in the way he converted him and turned him into that sort of player. So he definitely had that in his locker, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And so I really wish Arteta would. And this is what bothers me about him is that he gets into this. It has to be my way deal, and he's just going. I'm going to make Zinchenko this inverted left back, and this is just me personally. I don't see this inverted left back deal sticking around much further because I'm pretty sure I'm almost guaranteeing that Pep is probably going to go back to forward to back next year, which is the most sensible thing to do anyway. That's one reason why 4-3-2-1 normally works as well as it does is that you don't have to worry about doing this inverted crap. You've got
That's right.
coverage already in front of you to do what needs to be done. But I think that Zinchenko is one of these players that if he wants to start playing midfield like he does, he's gonna have to verbally come out and say, you know what, I want to play midfield, go buy a left back or whatever. And it's just going to be that way, man. Because I mean, you watched the game last week, and immediately when Newcastle came out, they went straight to Zinchenko. Everything went right over there to that side of the pitch, and he had to hurry up and get him out of there because if you'd have kept him on 10 more minutes, then we would have gave up a goal.
I think managers have that's the one thing that I love about football and football managers. They're critical problem solvers, right? And they see some of the things that's working for a said manager that's probably doing well at the top of the table. And the one thing that they're constantly working on is where the weaknesses are. And once they identify that, I mean, Sean Dyche was was one of the first guys to really punch a big hole in that system and say, "Hey, guys, this is how you really deal with this situation." You know, when he took over Everton,
Mm-hmm.
and we lost that game in the way that we lost it, and from then on, it's almost like there was that blueprint, you know, because we had the smoke screen on for maybe first half of the season. People they did really work out that that's Zinchenko, you know, going inverted and not being able to come back as quick as such to cover the space that is left him behind. Um, it's a way forward. And now, as soon as all the managers sussed it out, you know, the diagonal balls from the back line all the way into that space is just ridiculous. And Gabriel is now having to do the job of two man, you know, where he'll have to then go on that side and try and snuff out the fires. And for me, he's done well this season, Gabriel. I have to say,
Yeah.
Gabriel Magalesh. I think he's
Big
been
improvement.
fantastic this season. Maybe earlier part of the season we dubbed him Bozo, but he does Bozo things every now and again. But on the real, when you really look at it, most defenders that are like top defenders, especially the combative ones, not the smooth ones like Saliba or like Van Dijk, but the combative, you know,
Yeah.
defensive generals. You know, this is what they do. You know, that's their mo. And sometimes some of the mistakes that they make, you know, someone like Vidic when he was there with Ferdinand, you know, Ferdinand would be the one that really goes and read the go ahead and read the play, and he can just step in and intercept. But with Vidic, he goes into war with
Yeah.
some of these top 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 players. So when you look at that relationship that they got there, uh, Gabriel Magalesh, he reminds me of a player that plays in that mode. But doing the job or two, man, after a while, it starts to, you know,
Well,
you can't do it all the time.
yeah.
But
Mhm.
Zinchenko is always gone all the time. You know, it's difficult. It's difficult, and someone like Kieran Tierney coming into that space, maybe even my boy Tomiyasu. He's disciplined in terms of not going all the way forward, knows when to stay, knows when to go, and if you can read it like that and at least help out your teammates on the back line and not give them two man's job every single time there's an offensive play against us, it actually bodes well, and we our players ain't as fatigued in the long run, because eventually you get that mental fatigue, you get that physical fatigue from doing two man's job
Yeah.
when the man that's supposed to be there is not there all the time, you know. But the manager keeps picking him. But now he's starting to see sense. Sub him.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, don't wait till halftime. You see some foolishness that you already talked about in the briefing, in the team talk. Hook him.
Yeah.
He's got to do that, and he was doing that earlier part of the season. But Ateta kind of slowed down on that, and he was letting a few things slide. And
Yeah.
I started to look at him sideways, like, bro, you know, this is not.
Yeah.
I didn't see this from you earlier part of the season. Like, why is this now a
Naivety.
mainstay in the team? You know?
Yeah. Naivety, man. I mean, that's my biggest criticism of Mikel Arteta this season is naivety. Is that you have to have a ruthless streak as a manager, especially when you're challenging for a title or challenging for honors. Period. You have to have an attitude of it's well, not necessarily my way or the highway, but you're gonna get the job done and get it done right. And that's the problem that sunk us there for 3 weeks is that you got players that need to be sitting down. I mean, you look at Bakari Saka, he's really struggled here the last 4 or 5 weeks, and part of it's in due. The boys played for almost 2 years straight.
Mm,
He played through an injury. We knew he was injured early this year. Played through that. World Cup. You got all the. The boy had a chance to really sit down and take a break, and so you starting to see the wear and tear. Even though he's 21, man. I mean, he's got miles on him, like like a 2010 Kia Soul. He is we're working him, and so I was calling for him to be set down about 3 weeks ago
Mm,
because he needed a break. Martinelli was sticking it up. He needed to be set down. He sat him down for half of the game.
mm.
Arteta next year, Ola, for me, this is for me, has gave because we know he's coming back. There was no discussion about we know he's coming
Yep.
back.
Hmm.
He has to be more ruthless as a manager. He has to. He is not. He cannot be the players' coach next year. He's got to be a manager who has a chip on his shoulder, and he's got to learn. Because see now, next year, for me, next year
Mm.
is going to be a major look in at where he's at because the pressure is going to be ramped up considering that we were 8 points clear. The priest going to start the season next year with pressure, and he's going to have to be ruthless, Ola. Otherwise, he's not going to make it the whole season next year. He's not going to make it.
Yeah, I agree with you. And you know, again, I said it so many times. While we sit down there and do the watch alongs, and for me, Saka dropped the ball. I mean, it's like his form just fell off the cliff, and I kept saying to us like, this guy he's been bad, and why does he keep getting selected? Because for me, the manager's sending the wrong message. I don't care how good he's played. If his form if his form is dropped off dramatically as we've seen it dropped off, he should have been out of the team. And just we had Trossard there, and this was one of the things that baffled me the most. Like, how do we have Trossard and he didn't start a single game in all of April? It was crazy. I mean, I don't know if anyone could explain it. I just couldn't believe it. And I know we know Trossard could play anywhere across the front three. So there was no, we didn't have nobody. You know, I'm not saying completely not play Saka, but start Trossard,
Yeah,
bring Saka on maybe half an hour to go, 20 minutes to go, with a bit of energy, and give him incentive, especially if Trossard is playing well. You start to give Saka an incentive that, look, I might not get back in this team if Trossard continues to play like this and I don't
yeah.
get my shit together, right? But if Saka knows that I'm going to play the next game, regardless of how I played the last game, what message does that send? And this is where, like you said, Arteta has to be ruthless next season. Next season is not, is the first time in nearly a decade of being out of the Champions League, and now we're back in it. I don't just want to get back into Champions League just to go and get participation medal. You know,
A
that's
medal,
why
hey, a
that's
medal.
why I didn't care too much that we was out of it, because we never did fuck all in it.
Hey, you talk about a medal, man. Hell, we might get sent right back down to the Europa League if we ain't careful.
This is what I'm trying to say, and this is where the owners have got to invest. They have to invest right. The recruitment has to be spot on, and Ateta has to be ruthless. He has to also have plan Bs and maybe even plan Cs, and play. I want to say play in a more disciplined way in terms of our defensive, especially when we're playing against teams of the highest quality, and we're going to get those in the Champions League. That's what being in the Champions League is all about. A lot of teams are going to ask questions of your defensive abilities, and that's where we have to get it right. We have to, and this is where Zinchenko ain't going to cut it for me next season.
It, you
He's
know, it's
it's
a
not going to
perfect.
cut it for me.
This is a perfect segue. We'll go right into this transfer window. We're gonna I had a layout, but I'm gonna keep this conversation going. So
Mm,
this is perfect. There are several players in this team for me that it's time to call time on. I'll ring off a few of them.
mm,
Uh, I'm with you. If somebody came in with a $35 million offer for Zinchenko, he 25-20, he's out of there. He's gone. You can do better. Uh, a player that earlier this week, I'd say probably Wednesday, news came down that his wife is wanting to go back to Germany, and
mm.
that is Granit Xhaka.
Right.
All right, so let's look at Granit Xhaka. Granit Xhaka is 31 years old, defensive midfielder. is a taxing position. And a player that's 30 plus, you really asking. We've got two defensive midfielders. Three. I thought about it. Three. I had to think about it. El Nene is one of them.
Mm.
Is 30 plus. These guys are getting older.
Oh,
And
Jorginho, one of the ones that we just
Georgia and
signed.
Georgia four.
He ain't
That's
young.
four. That's four. Georgia, that's four. You're right. Four 30 plus defensive midfielders.
Mm-hmm.
Brother, it is time to have a fire sale. As Chig would say, it's time to pull out the chopping block. Because
Chopping block, yes.
Shaka, thank you, man. It took you 7 years, but it is time to move on, my friend. It is time to move on. Take whatever you can get for him. And he'll probably get the testimonial anyway because he's been here 10 years. So you can go ahead and just go ahead and roll him on out of here, man. Because that he needs to go. El Nene needs to go. Thank you for the positivity, but it's time to go. Jorginho, hey man, we appreciate you for what you did. Time to go. Rob Holden. Rob Holden. It is time to go. It is time to go. Reese Nielsen, it is time to go. We have got a lot of surgery, Ola, that needs to be done with this team when you look at it. There's a lot of people need to be moved around and people need to be moved out. We are going into the Champions League next year. Just like me and you just stated, there's no need in going into this competition with the same team that we have now. There needs to be wholesale changes. And not only wholesale changes, Ola, but I want to see players who are currently, the Sockers and your Martinelli. I want to see them feel threatened by players coming in next year. Jesus is one. I like Gabriel Jesus. I love his work rate. I love how he moves along, his energy and everything. But yeah, he dipped in form now for a little while. He needs to feel threatened for his position. That there should be no position in this team, as far as I'm concerned, that you should be comfortable enough to know I got a job every week. It should be challenging, not only on the pitch, but for your position.
100%. I agree with that. And when you look at some of the names that you just ringed off, I mean, Rob Holding is starting to give me Phil Jones's vibes at Arsenal. You know what I mean? He's been around for so long, and he's just there earning contracts. I don't know how he does it. He earned enough contract to fix his hair. It didn't go the way you went. You know what I mean? You embraced this shit. He didn't embrace it. He went and bought new hair. You know, uh, and now he's looking like Alice out there. I mean, look, Thomas Partey, like we just said, is coming to the twilight of his career now. So Shaka, these are retirement contracts that these guys are going to start looking for now, right? At the age where they're at now, it's time to start looking for those retirement contracts. And we've done that for so long. It's not something that us as fans, we don't want that to continue. We got to keep refreshing the squad. And when I say refreshing the squad, I mean with top quality, like you said, with competition. How does a Zeus gonna feel threatened with Eddie Nketiah? Like,
he needs to be sold too. That's another one needs to be sold.
He just got a new contract.
No, needs to be
you know what I mean?
Hey, we need to pay him a few million on that, and we need to take a few million and get him on out of here, man.
This is what I'm trying to say. That's another one. Like how is it threatening Jesus? We need to bring in a player that's gonna really do that. But for me, with this Nketiah deal, and that's a good thing what you said there, because he's got contract now. Maybe there's gonna be some English clubs, Premier League clubs, maybe even in the Italian league. You see it with Tammy Abraham. He went over there and he's doing some good work over there. So something like that could happen with Nketiah, where we now can get some value for him, and then bring in another player. Maybe bring back Balogun as a supplement for Nketiah's role, but go out and get another top striker that will give Jesus competition, because we're going to need that next season. We can't just depend on Jesus, and when he drops form, we're trying to play him back into form. I don't agree with the whole notion of playing players back into form like that. You can do it for a game, maybe at the very most two, but you can't continue doing it. if they're out of form.
Yeah.
And it's one thing that I see a lot of managers, that's where their downfall is. You know what I mean? They stick too long. You know what I mean, before
Yeah.
trying to change it. And by that time it's too late, you know. So we have to be proactive and not reactive. And we need a lot of that next season. We just need to get ahead of stuff, and that starts from the recruitment. That starts with the crunkers really pulling out their checkbooks and
Yeah.
say, hey, those four midfielders that you just mentioned in Shaka, Jorginho, Partey, El Nene, we're gonna clear out all these guys. Now we're gonna bring in fresh blood, the Caicedos of this world, the Declan Rices of this world. You know, go and get these guys, these young bloods that we know they're of real quality. Go and get them, bring them in, bring me Madison. You know, go and get these guys.
Hey, that's a great shot, man. I mean, because Leicester's probably going down. You probably get him for pennies on the dollar, man.
Yeah,
And I mean that right there, and not to cut you off, but that right there makes so much. It makes so much sense. It's stupid because I mean, these are guys. I mean, you was in there
if
for
it
two.
makes too much sense, Arsenal probably ain't gonna do
Yeah,
it.
I'm like, when you think about it, all the, some of these deals, it just make perfect sense. Uh, Ola, we got to start our transfer, business early. That's been one of my biggest gripes for the last 45 years. Well, really since Wenger was here.
Yeah,
We waste,
100
we dither,
100%.
we waste our time. And is if Tony was here, he'd say hoggle. Mott, they hoggle. Yeah, like they
Yep.
haggle over and over and over. We waste time. We know Declan Rice is going to be a hot commodity. Now, is he worth $120 million? That's a whole nother discussion. But we know he's going to be sought after. Madison is going to be sought after. Now, and this is why I keep telling people, I want people to understand we're not the only team that's going to have the strength in the offseason. You've got Liverpool, you've got City is definitely going to do some re-strengthening because they're getting a little older in the midfield. You got United's going to splash the cash. You've got Newcastle who's entered the party. You got Chelsea that's just going to throw it away just to throw it away. Aston Villa is now in this.
They're rich. They're rich as fuck.
Brighton is another one that you got to worry
Oh
about
yeah.
now. So you've got a bunch of teams vying for players in addition to, if we're looking at Champions League quality players, now you're competing against Europe. You got all the teams in Europe.
All
So
the major players.
yeah, so we don't have this time to just sit around here and wait to August the 31st at 11:58 to go out and start looking for players. I want to say, Carl, I want to bring up this comment right here. Carl Rossi says, Ott sells Zinchenko for 20 million, Shaka for 15, Nene for 5, and Ketia for 15 million, Holden for 5. Tamiyasu has got to go.
Put a knife in my heart, man. Put a knife
I
in
know
my heart.
he got you there, boy. And be ruthless. But look at the money that's just that alone can get you a couple of players right there.
Yeah.
We've got to go out this year because that's what damned us this year. I'm a fervent believer that January transfer window outside of Trossard cost us this title because nobody was counting. Oh well, just Saliba's he's gonna be there for the remainder of the season. Nothing's gonna happen to him. He's unstoppable. As soon as he went down, everything else went down. Arsenal, we have got to start getting players covered in each position with a player that's better, or if on par or better, Ola, than the player that's already in the position. Our drop off this year, brother, when we had players that were injured, when you just go to the bench. You remember that game there when we was it Sporting when we had to go to the bench.
That's right.
And it was nothing there. He just looked over there and nothing there. But you spent $50 million on two players. Now Kivior is starting. We're gonna find out where he is next year. But Kivior's looking okay. But Vieira, beginning of the season, T-Bag ain't it, bro. I'm sorry, man.
I don't know why T-Bag is on that list and Tomiyasu's on that list. Carl Rossi, what's wrong with you?
but we've got to start buying players, brother, that are on par. I mean, better for me. I prefer to have players. I want challenging in each position because you got to sit with our fans to go, Matt, we've got players. We can't just. Who's gonna? How is Jesus gonna be able to play mentally if we buy someone else? That's his problem. We need players that are better than or greater than the player already in the position. There must be challenging on all fronts. All fronts. This notion that we can't bring in players that are better than the players in our position. You know, look at City. They set De Bruyne. De Bruyne was sitting down this year. He was sitting down. A world class footballer was sitting on the bench. Look at look at Lee's boy. Look at Mahrez. Mahrez has rode the bench most of his City career. Good as he is.
Hmm.
Look at Gundogan. Another one rides the bench. Why can't Arsenal adapt the attitude that in order for us to be better, you're going to have to succeed. You're going to have to be a player that comes in and takes another player's position. Me personally, I think Arsenal FC is too romanticized when it comes to players. I think we fall in love with players. We fall in love just like this whole. Well, I want to protect Rob Holding's value. What? What? I want to protect his value. You know, El Nene, he's out, but we want to give him a contract. Nketiah scored 6 goals. We want to give him 120,000 and the number 14 and $100,000 contract and number 14. Oh, because we just want to be nice. I want to be friends with Brighton. That kind of. We have to change our behavior next year, man. Otherwise, what I'm afraid of. This is me. What I'm afraid of, if we don't capitalize on our good fortunes right now, we could go right back, Ola, to where we were 2-3 years ago. I don't think people realize how all it takes is a couple of bad games and we're looking like Chelsea. But we've got to get players next year, as far as I'm concerned, that can challenge the players that's in the position. If not, bring in better players than what's already in that position. We got to do it.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, look, we've had these owners, and for the longest time, I didn't think the way they were operating was good enough in terms of getting ahead in the market, competing for top players, to bring Arsenal back to where Arsenal need to be. But recently, since they got the full ownership, it's kind of turned a little bit, and I'm seeing them maybe doing a little bit more in terms of recruiting players. Now we weren't in the position where we could go for those top tier player that you were talking about, and like I said earlier on about Jesus, how does Nketiah threaten him? We need players that are going to feel threatened of their positions, and this has to go across the board, right? And that in return then allows a manager to really flex on these players and let them know that, listen, if you're not pulling your weight, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, and I tell you stay in this position, but you're all the way over there, or we discuss this tax and that's not, you're coming off. And it could take a while before you get back in, because the person that's lurking on the bench is maybe even better than you, right? And like you said, we got to have those days where we could sit down a Caicedo, but we know the next brother that's coming on is just as good as Caicedo is, or maybe better. You could sit down a Madison, but or you could sit down an Odegaard, but when Madison comes on, it could do maybe even a better job than what Odegaard is doing. And this has to go against Saliba. It can't just know that, oh, Holding is who I got behind me. Soon as I get fit, I know I'm coming straight back on the pitch. No, bro. Ramsdale. What? Turner? What? That's all you got behind you? Where's the threat? There's no threat, right? So from goalkeeper all the way to the strikers, there has to be jeopardy for their position. And that's how you get the best out of these players. We can, and when we talk about selling players, and like Carl Rossi just spoke about that with Tommy Asu. Sorry, Ola. Yeah. I ain't got his name on my shirt. You know why? Because you're an employee of the club.
Yeah.
and you will find a job somewhere else when we sell you. That's how this game goes. And
Yeah.
the earlier people embrace that, like the way Matt has embraced his bald head, people gonna start enjoy. You're gonna enjoy the sport better. You know what I mean. Once you don't get attached to players and you just see them for what they are, which is, let's face it, they're all mercenaries,
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
You
There's
know
no
what I mean?
loyalty. There's no loyalty in football, people. There's no.
Mudrik, that Mudrik deal will tell you all you need to know.
And I can't blame him. You know, you
You know,
coming from, this money's on the table. Money's on the
let's
table, my friend.
let's face it. You know what I mean? They're all mercenaries, all of them. So the earlier you start embracing it and knowing that these players, they will come and they will go. That's just how it is. And you embrace that, you're gonna be you're gonna see football in a different light. You're gonna see these players in a different light. And when they're not pulling their weight, you're gonna feel better calling them out because you're not so emotionally attached to them. And when you're not attached to them, the next person that's coming off the bench that's gonna do better, you're gonna be with it rather than moaning and trying to find faults in what that player that's come off the bench is doing. Because, like my big unks always say, the club is the star. Kenny
Yeah.
Ken will tell you that all the time. Yeah, the club is the star. No one's bigger than the club.
Not
No
one.
player's bigger than the club. And every single player should feel unsafe in their positions, you know? And that's how elite club operates. If you're an elite club and you want elite sort of results, elite mentality, you want the gold. Because look, nobody goes into any kind of sport I was saying about Champions League just now. I don't want no participation medals. I want
Yeah.
to win the damn thing. Whatever we're in, I don't care if it's charity shield, whatever it is that's shiny. I want to win it.
Yeah.
Carling Cup, FA
Yeah.
Cup,
Yeah.
Super Cup,
Yeah. You know
Club World Cup,
you hit
whatever it is, I want to win it.
you hitting on exactly what I was getting ready. I was getting ready to get on that. I want to bring this up right quick. Brother Burton says Arsenal needs to stop letting players run down their contracts. You got all these banging average players on ridiculous wages leaving for nothing. Ansley Maitland now, classic example. We should have sold him for 12, 10, 11, 10, whatever, 9, 8, 7. Just start selling these players. When they came in, Ola, they came in. They said, "Oh well, we're going to stop players running down contracts. If they don't sign by the amount of time, then we're moving on." And what do you see? You see players like Ainsley Maitland now, Reese Nielsen, players that could have been sold for something. I'm a firm believer you can get something for. Anybody know me? I'm a penny pincher. But I know, trust me, you can go sell something and get something for it. There's no way you're gonna tell me you couldn't at least get $5 million for Reese Nielsen, $8 million, or 9 million for Ainsley Maitland Niles. And here we are letting this player go for absolutely nothing. Then you got nothing from it. And this is a problem that has plagued us the last couple of years where we have run down these contracts.
Matt, sorry to cut you there. It
Go
got
ahead,
even worse. It got even worse. You saying we're letting these players go for nothing? We're getting rid of these players and paying their fucking wages.
Oh yeah, what's my man? Who?
Aubameyang.
But yeah, I definitely say about yeah. We pay players. That's what I told me this one time. I told me I said,
we're not even just giving them away for free. We're paying them.
Yeah,
we're paying off like it's crazy.
Hey, I told Lee, I said only Arsenal would pay for a player's upgrade in their career. I said only Arsenal do that. Now I just want you to think about that.
It's madness to me for what we, especially what we did with Aubameyang's contract, got rid of him, paying him while he's over there, and Barcelona cashing on him.
What wouldn't you say, Ola? Wouldn't you have to say, this falls at the feet of Edu? It falls at his feet. If it's one person that I think should be removed from his post this year, it's him. He needs. I mean, because he has won. I was watching somebody recently, and they said he has not gotten any major deal over I think it was Northside said no major deal over the line. When you think about it, when I thought about that thing, I said, you know what? He's right. What What major player have we been at the table with, and he can't get him over the line? Even Mudryk was there. I mean, Mudryk was on a campaign, a worldwide campaign to come to Arsenal, and he still couldn't get him over the line. Now, as far as I didn't want to pay that amount of money for him, but it is what it is. But we're at the South Sado. They say, hey, 80. You telling me we couldn't go to the table with $80 million in Brighton when it took you couldn't tell me we showed up with 87. I don't have 90, but here's 87, 88 plus Nketiah. You gonna tell me they wouldn't take it? Come on,
I mean, you're right. It's insane. Some of the deals, when you go back and look at it and you say, yeah, big deal. Yeah, I mean the little deals, it brings in the little deals and the moderate deals and stuff like that. But when you talk about the top deals, the top tier signings, the marquee signings, the 80 millions, the 100 millions worth, sort of signings, where are they? Where, and it's not like we've not gone for them. You just know we're not going to get over the line. I mean, this Declan Rice stuff, it's all I've heard of, all season. Oh, we're getting Declan Rice, and the price keeps going up and up and up. And I'm thinking to myself, Edu ain't going to get this thing over the line, man. And you can trust your bottom dollar, someone like a Chelsea or even a Man United can go knock on their door, slap the money on the table, and take the fucking player. They do it all the time. We say, that's not to say the player is going to work out, but you don't know till you sign the player, because there's obviously something you saw in the player. We're not the ones scouting the player. You paying somebody as a club to go and scout these players. So when you're now interested in them and you now get yourself ready to go and get these players, you should be armed with money to go and do that.
Yeah.
Not haggle and try and, you know what I mean? Like, be armed with the asking price, go slap it on the table, no fucking around, get the player, and move on to the next target.
Yeah.
That's how I want to say, Arsenal operate in this window that we're coming into now.
Yeah.
And we said it all of December, going into the January transfer window. And I said to myself, I said this to Lee. I said, I will see, I would know the club's ambition. I will know if they really want to win this title. I will know if come January 1st, they say, bam, here's a signing. Bro, it took, 18 days?
Yeah, 18
something like that, to get the first signing through the door. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, West, show me the ambition. I want to see it. And that should have been shown to the fans that, yeah, we're really serious about this title. 1st of January, boom, Caicedo walked through the door, 80 million. Now we're showing everybody we mean business. Yeah, but bro, we ain't showing none of that. We're showing that make attitude again in the transfer window. I've never really seen us move aggressively in the transfer window. We never do that. We don't bully teams in the transfer window. Teams tell us to fuck off. Mr. Bloom's telling us to bugger off.
Yeah.
For Caicedo, like, would they do that to Man City if they came to knock on their door?
I'm telling you, man. People they've got to see this for what it is, man. Our transfer window. I have held this position, Ola, for a while. Our transfer window not only has cost us this year, it cost us top 4 last year. It cost us the year before that. It cost us the year before that. Our transfer window policy is probably some of the worst to deal with in Europe when it comes to transfer window. We don't pay what people ask. We overvalue our players. I told Tony this one time. I said, Arsenal won't pay what you want them to pay for your player, but for Rod Holding, they'll overvalue him and then expect somebody to overpay. I said this before, man. Edu should be moved on, and they need to go get somebody, maybe from over Brighton's director of football. Well, there's a track record of they've been able to get players in worth something, and they've been able to have a balanced team. I honestly think the job is too big for this man, and he needs to be moved on because we just don't have the time. Like you said, my expectations next year is that this year we pissed away 3 cups. We threw them away. You
Threw
know,
him away. I
fit.
was
Yeah.
extremely upset,
Oh
bro.
yeah.
I was seething, but
Yeah. I
it's,
mean, just
it's the manner of which we threw him away as well. It was bad. It's like
look
we
at
just didn't give a fuck.
Ola. Look at, and I said that this week, and I watched the European competitions this week, and I thought to myself, we should be in this final. We should be getting ready in this semifinal, getting ready for a final.
Mm.
But we had fish to fry. And that we had fish to fry, we had seasoning, we had jollof, we had, we had baked chicken, we had a full meal deal. That's what we were supposed to have, full meal deal. And then we look
Oh
up
my god.
three competitions gone, going into next season, man. This is why I'm on my head about transfer window,
Mm.
because if they are truly serious about competing next year. I want to compete on every last front. Like you said it earlier, all cups are on the line. Even the charity shield is on the line.
What
Everything,
I want it all.
all of it. This thing over in the United States, y'all probably coming on here for that too. I want that trophy too. The whatever cup it is, the Coca-Cola cup, whatever
Yeah,
whatever it's called,
whatever.
whatever
Yep.
it's called. Everything is on the line.
Mm.
Everything is on the line next season, as far as I'm concerned. There's no excuses. I don't hear anything about we're competing on this, we're going to this, so we're not gonna worry about that. No, no, no. All cups. I want a squad that can go from one. I want to have three, four players that can move in for each team, then keep the level of play up so that we can compete. Because I'll be damned if I'm gonna sit here next year and put up and hear the excuses that I heard this year about why we can't compete with lack of squad depth. These are all problems. These are self-inflicted problems. These are self-inflicted problems. Normally, somebody brought up early in the chat there. Normally, we dealing with injuries all year long. This has been one of the first few years, and I can remember in a long time, Ola,
Mm.
that we have not really been injury hit.
Mm.
And this is all of this is going to play this transfer window. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. I told Gunnar, I said I'm going to be on this transfer window, but I'm starting early. Everybody else wait 2-3 weeks. I know. I'm starting now because I already know it's coming.
Yeah.
But this is serious business. This transfer window, Ola. I am serious about this transfer window, brother.
I mean the recruitment has to be spot on, and if we're really serious about pushing for the title again next season, the competition is even gonna be it's gotta be crazy. I mean, the competition in the squad has to go to another level. It can't be where it's at. I don't want to hear no excuses about the squad is too young, right? Oh, we got the youngest team in the no. These players are old enough, they're good enough. If they're good enough, they're old enough. That's it.
Yeah.
That's why they're getting all these top contracts that they're now, that they're now looking to sign and stuff. You're getting big boy money now. I want to see big boy football. And if you're not doing it, sit down.
Yeah.
Let the next man jump on. And then you have to now fight to get back into the team. It's not a case of, oh yeah, I'm gonna say, for example, bring Trossard on. After I've dropped Saka, Trossard does well, and then I drop Trossard in the next game for Saka to come back on. No. Trossard carries on playing till he start dropping the ball.
Yeah. There you go.
That's how this thing is supposed to work. But these managers, they got their favorites, bro, and they can't leave their favorites on for too long. And this is where, for me, I mean, the ruthlessness got to come in. It's got to come in, and we have to be consistent with it. It's not something that we just do when there's no pressure. Oh, all of a sudden now you want to show ruthlessness. We lost the lead to the fucking title.
Yeah,
the ruthlessness should have come before that. Now you want to drop Partey.
Yeah,
you've been seeing this.
Preach, man, preach.
You've been seeing it. Now you want to, you can't. For me, when your ruthlessness come too late, it's a pointless exercise. Insignificant.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because the reason why what we're there in the first place. We've now lost that opportunity. This is the biggest regret that I've got this season. Not not doing something about the mistakes that we were seeing reoccurring with Liverpool 2-0 ahead, drop the ball, let them back in. West Ham 2-0 up, drop
Yeah.
the ball, let them back in. And we let it happen.
Ola, you can go all the way.
Manager sat there and watched that shit. He did fuck all about it.
You can go all the way back to Manchester United in the earlier part of the season.
Yeah.
That was another classic
All
example.
that
We pissed it away. We had
You
that
know?
game. We were back in that game, and then we let that slip away. We have got to rectify this thing where like you said we're in the Liverpool 2-0. I mean at Anfield.
And they were there for the taking, bro. They were there for the
It
taking.
was
I
there.
mean, bro, that's what hurt the most. They
Yeah,
were there for the taking, man.
bro. It was hold up. Then you get West Ham. You go up, just boom, we cooking, and then but you blow that. Southampton comes into town.
It got worse. I thought, oh, it can't get worse
Oh
than this.
God!
But
Oh God! Whoa,
this is
God,
Arsenal
it's only
Football
like
Club.
30
Things
games.
can't get even worse.
Yeah. Oh God! As you say, Santa Claus Arsenal showed right up for Southampton. Showed right up and gave them tidings and good cheer. And then here we are. We look. We look. And then now we're sitting here looking. And last week Newcastle, everybody's going nuts over Chelsea. Oh man, Chelsea, man, we defeated Chelsea, man. And then last week we beat Newcastle, and all I could think last week sitting there looking like, man, if we'd have won two games, even 2 games, we having a whole different discussion. Just one, not Drew, one. Now we got to hope and pray that the miracle that Sean Dyche is feeding them boys bricks tonight to beat City, which we know that realistically, y'all know that ain't happening anymore. I mean, you come on, man.
It's the hope that kills, isn't it?
That's why I said, it's hard. It's just the reality. This is why I had to watch this team rooted in reality, because I just know, like, no. This is over. Which is why we talking about transfers and stuff already, because no need to talk about.
I'm kind of retired for the season right now. I've kind of parked it in my mind.
Yeah,
that, you know what? I just don't want us to limp over the line now. Do the best you can to get over the line, and hopefully the way that we finish the season, we can then pick it up preseason and then go from there, go hammer and tongue from there and try and compete to the best of our ability. But first, we got to finish this season the best possible way, and that's winning all the last 3 games that we got left, and we got to win it in good fashion.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question here, brother. Now, one of my major positions next year that need to be looked at, and it's something that I saw throughout the year. And this is not a knock on Gabby Jesus. He's done really well this year. Think he brings a lot to the team, and I just wish he stopped falling over all the time. That's all. But he can't help it. But I think we need a striker in the ilk of a like Ivan Toney. We need a. Did you see Edin Dzeko's goal the other night that he scored in the?
No, I didn't say it. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check
that out, man. That is the kind of striker we need. A man's man up top that creates havoc, corners, set pieces. We need a striker that's hard to bring down. That a person that's sure-footed in front of goal. It can hold up almost like, man, it's gonna sound crazy, man, but me and Lee joked about this during the World Cup. It's like Giroud was looking like exactly what you like. That's what we need. That right there is what we need. That's it. What we need right there. But I think we need a player like Ivan Toney. That's if it was up to me, that's who I'd be going out to get. But I think that's who we should be getting. But Ola, do you think that we need to go out and look at a striker in this transfer window?
100%. We need a big striker, and we need a goal machine. We need a goal machine. And what's helped Jesus this season, because he's not spoken enough I know he's been injured. He's been injured since World Cup came back, and it's scored in a few games. But the return, his goal contributions are right up there. I'm not going to deny that in terms of assisting as well. His goal contributions are right up there. But when you talk about goals for striker, that's going to be our main striker, it's not enough. And he's been lucky this season that the goal has been shared around.
Yeah,
It might not be like that next season
yeah,
because we have these that it happens every now and again where it's either the whole team chips in and you get a good season out of it, or one striker or two strikers, two of your forward are just lethal and they get you over the line.
yeah.
30 goals, 30 goals, they get you over the line because they're so lethal. We see what Mane and
Holland.
Salah was doing for Liverpool. We see with Haaland doing it for Man City. So sometimes you get to share the goals around, and sometimes it's just those main guys. They're the go-to guys. You just find them, give them the ball. We did it with Alexis Sanchez.
Yeah,
Just find him, give him
yeah,
the ball, and he'll do the rest. There's sometimes that every now and again you get those two sort of phases within a team. So next season we might not have a situation where the whole team is chipping in, and you're going to need your strikers,
yeah,
your forwards to really go ahead and tear it up, and get us those goals. And it worries me because of Jesus' low return. But this is not something that we've just seen at Arsenal.
we
We
saw it
saw
at
it at
City.
Man City as well.
Yeah,
So it's not something that's like, that's just, he's going to get better for Jesus. We've been seeing it. So, you know, I'm not expecting a 20, 30 goal a season Jesus because it's never really
yeah,
giving any team that, right? So why am I expecting that, right? We need to go ahead and look at Tony, like you said, it's right up there and
yeah,
he's playing for Brentford. Imagine what he could do in our team, you know? And again, he will give Jesus that competition that if you don't start scoring goals, this brother is here to stay.
or you could play them both together. I'm
Do
old
that.
school now. I'm old school. Old. I'm 4'2"
Oh,
now. So
oh yeah, we,
you
we
know,
could we could that's I'm more of a horses for courses guy.
yeah,
You know what I mean? If them two requires a game where we need to play them together, then do that. And if it requires just a player like Jesus to unlock certain doors and let other players in, then we do that. And if we just need a battering ram and a man that's just going to go and terrorize defenses all day like Ivan Tony, we do that. So I'm more of a horses for courses sort of fan, if you like, but getting these players in variety of positions is so important, especially the striking position, like you said, because for me, we might get a situation where the whole team might not chip in as much goals as they've done this season. You know, we look at the defenders, in Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes, their goal contributions this season. Thomas Partey scored a few goals this season. Shaka chipped in a few goals. He scored more than he's ever scored for us this season. Why am I going to expect that next season? That
yeah,
might not happen.
yeah.
You
And
know,
I'm glad you brought that point up too, man. I'm glad you brought it up. I think a lot of people, a lot of our fans. I got a buddy of mine, a good friend of mine. We talk about. I'm a big Lakers fan. We watch a lot of basketball, and so he brings this up all the time. We talk about who the greatest and all this stuff.
mm,
Arsenal fans are just like some NBA fans. They get caught up in the moment. And so they think that just because it's this way now, it's going to remain this way forever. And me and you both have watched enough football to know, ain't it don't quite work out like that,
it
bro.
don't quite. It's not
I mean,
always like that.
yes, we've seen Chelsea win a championship and go all the way damn near relegation, and
Hmm.
we've seen a lot of these big teams relegated before, and people have to understand we have no divine right at the table of the top four. We have to work our way to that, and then when you get there, where we are now, you have to stay competitive. And that is one of my biggest gripes is competitive. And I know somebody's going to watch this on the replay and say, well, y'all are complaining because you're in second place. But y'all are saying y'all want to be competitive. There's context in that. There's context in that. We were eight. I want people to understand we were 8 points clear of City. There's no reason why we didn't build on that lead. The finish behind them is a failure. that is a failure. No matter how you cut it, 8 points clear.
That's a 11, 12 point swing.
That's no different than last year, Ola. That's no different than last year. We sat
It
right
ain't.
here. We
It
sat
ain't.
right here, and you and Lee and I and everybody else sat right there last year, and we watched. We were 4 games clear, almost 4 games clear of where we need to be. Just all you need to do is put a win on the board. We done.
Yeah.
We in that. Bow. We completely blew it. We did the same thing again this year. This is why I said next year the manager has to be put under pressure out of the gate because if we're going, if it, and I'm kind of with Lee on this. This is just me.
Mm.
You've got world class managers available, and it seems like every time we do this, we get into this situation. Let's go back to being ruthless, Ola. Is that we're in a situation. They're talking about Real Madrid is cutting ties with Ancelotti, who I prefer. Uh, we're gonna have managers out there that could get us to the next level. And Arteta might just be what I call a bridge manager, where he can only go so far, and then you can. All right, I've got this is as good as I can get it. I remember when Pep was available. You remember when
Oh, bro,
was available. You
please.
remember that?
Oh my days.
And Wenger would just sit there just what just go on and like, hey, bro, we just won the FA Cup. Hang it up. Let's go. Hang it up so we can get
It's all.
somebody.
It's.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Now, some clubs need a manager that can get them over the line. I eat for all the young folks here. A lot of these young fans did not see Arsene Wenger when he came to Arsenal. Me and you both remember when he came. Who is this man? This man is grandpa's 8 and all this stuff. Who is this guy? Science professor. All the jokes. Y'all remember it.
Yep.
And then, but he took a good team, built on it, and then propelled the team to success. Arteta has come in, had a decent team because we were in people forget we were in a final when he got here. Yeah. And then took that team, dismantled it, rebuilt a team, and then now the team is pretty good, but he still can't get them over the line. And then we going into next season. So that now the question has to be asked, that you have to start asking the question. You have to start asking it. Is this the man to get us over the line? Oh, I know that's a heavy question, brother. I know that's a heavy one. Is this the man that's going to get Arsenal over the line going forward?
I'll tell you something right now. And God rest his soul, Chig, and my good friend Claude. It's something I've always said. There's always room for improvement everywhere. There's always room, bro. There's no such thing as there's no room for improvement. Everything can get better. Everything can be bettered. Everything is replaceable. Everything. No position in any elite organization, be it a football club, be it a company, nobody should feel safe in their positions, and that includes the manager, right? So if again you're not meeting your requisites and what's required of you, your objectives, then the question should be asked about replacing your ass. It's simple as that. The question should be asked. And look, to finish eighth, and fifth, and then we find ourselves where we are now. We're now in a position where we're in Champions League. This is uncharted territories for Arteta, right? And there is the excuses that's going to come next season. Oh, he's never been in Champions League before. Oh, he's never played.
I forgot about that. I didn't even think
bro,
about that.
I'm telling you right now, it's coming.
You're right.
It's coming. Yeah, I don't want to hear it, but it's coming. Bro, you already played in Europa League. Thursday, Sunday. What's the difference? Wednesday, Saturday. I don't want to hear no excuses. But they're going to make these excuses for him. Right? And this is where sometimes you got to go for the managers that's been there, done it. They've got the CV. They've competed at the highest level. They've competed in pressure situations. People like Ancelotti, when he gets to the boardroom of the Real Madrid top echelons and the president, they're asking tough questions. They're asking really tough questions of him as a manager. The fans are asking tough questions. The fans don't lift the foot off the neck of the club. They got their foot firmly on the neck of the club because they demand success at all times.
All times.
At all times. There's no in between. This is this is the standard. And when we talk about standards, some people take it to like, some unrealistic stuff, right? But when we're talking about standard as a fan for your club, it means you just want the best for your club all the time. And whatever the self-inflicted, because there are things that happens to a club that can make a club go a certain way, like mitigating circumstances that they can't really do anything about. Say like with Roman, right?
Mm.
It was a government
Yeah.
situation that got him out of being a chairman at Chelsea. So Chelsea fans can't do nothing about that. So now they have this new owner, and what's going on is going on with them. So you can't. But situations where you've got control of it, because we've got control of our own fate at Arsenal Football Club. Yeah. So we can do something about it. And that includes being able to replace the manager if he's not reaching those said objectives. If he's not, competing at the highest level for all the silverware that's available. Because at the start of the season, we're in all these competitions. So the conversation would have to be had.
Yeah.
That what are your objectives for all these trophies? Yeah, I want to win that. Yeah, I want to win that. Yeah, I want to win that. Yeah, we're gonna compete and win and try and win that. And if it not looks like, yeah, all right, if you get knocked out of it, fair enough. But if it not looks like you're throwing away those competitions for said I can't fuck with that, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't accept that as a fan. I demand more. I
Yeah.
demand more. My standards are higher. There's expectations, because you as a club charge the highest ticket in the land. You will
Yeah.
got the highest ticket
It just rose. It just rose the price
season,
yesterday, and the ticket just went up yesterday. Just went up yesterday.
right? So our season tickets ain't bloody cheap. Tickets to red level members ain't cheap to go to all of these games, home and away.
Over
It's
here,
crazy.
even here for the tournament, man. I think I saw tickets. The nosebleeds, man. The
It's
nosebleeds were going for almost $200.
it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So when we're being asked for all these high ticket prices, but you expect the fans' expectation of team performance to be low and just get away with garbage performances, no. I demand more. I expect more. If I go to a restaurant and I'm paying top dollar for a steak and I ask for it to be cooked in a specific way, I expect that to be on my plate when it comes back out, because y'all are charging me top dollar for it. And customers are always right. We're paying the we're paying the subscriptions. We're the ones buying the merchandise. We're the one, customers are always right.
You know what,
So
man?
people, you need to raise your standards come next season. Don't take none of the club's PR, because we're going to get a lot of PR coming for the club.
You know,
Don't buy.
I'm gonna say this, man. I know I don't know if Rants will catch this or not, but I watch y'all. I watch them United fans, man. The United fans like to play this. They play this game, and I don't know if you notice it. They'll play like, oh well, we'll we'll the cups and stuff. The success. If we get it, we get it. If we don't, damn well if Manchester United is not competing for a title or winning something. And now I've been living long enough to know with United, if they don't compete or win something, I mean something, it doesn't just win something. Even if they finish outside top five, they win 2 trophies, they satisfied. The amount of pressure that they apply on their club to be successful. It's like this whole situation with them not won a Premier League. You starting to hear rumblings, okay, well, do we need to get Ten Hag out of here? Arsenal has to start being the same way. I told you we have a problem. We have a massive problem with romanticizing the football club. And what happens is, when you're in love with somebody, Ola, you can't, and you see all their faults. You see the red flags. You see the red flags. You know they ain't no good. And you just, I'm gonna make it work. You go into simp mode. We're gonna make this thing work. I'm gonna get chocolates and all this, flowers and all this, and we're gonna make this thing work.
Oh
And that's
man.
where we are with
Mm.
this club, with some of this fan base, is that we it cannot see through the rose tinted glasses, that
Yep.
we have to be ruthless. We have to be ruthless, man. We got to do it. We got to do it, Ola. We got to do it.
Bro, I want to see that ruthlessness in the market, in the transfer market first. I want to see us move aggressively in the
Yep.
transfer market. I want to see us bully teams for their players that we want, because we've had to go through that from other teams when we got bullied. Man City is one of them. And let's face it, they were one of the teams. Chelsea did it.
Yep.
Took some of our best players. Man United did it to us. Took RVP off of us just like that. So I want to see us do that in the transfer market, and I want to see us be aggressive, be proactive, and you know just move accordingly next season in the league, in Champions League, in all the cups that
Yep.
we're in, every single cup. I want to see us move accordingly and get the right results.
All right, Ola. So, brother, I know just this whole hour and 15 flew by, man. I just lit up and looked at the clock, man. I mean, good Lord. Brother, I have thoroughly enjoyed chatting with you this morning, man. Before you go,
Thank you, sir.
I do want to ask you this, because I am also two. I'm a big boxing family. I used to actually box. So
All right.
here is a question I want to ask you, my brother, is what fight do you want to see in the ring and in the octagon before this year is out? What fight do you want to see made?
Oh, great question. Um, Errol Spence.
Oh, but you I already know where you're going.
Right? I mean, those two fights, I've been saying it. Like, those guys, they should be having a trilogy right
Yeah.
now for how long they've been out there. So for me, those two guys definitely got to fight. Is a fight that they got to give us, or at the very least, maybe give me a Wilder and Joshua if we're not gonna get that. So those two, I probably would love to see that before the year's out. And in the octagon, yeah, this one here is uh I would say, ooh, this one here is tough. I want to say
I got one.
Leon Edwards and Islam Makachev, 155 champion versus 170 champion,
Yeah.
super fight,
I
and
throw
Islam can go up.
I throw this one in there too, just for old time's sake.
Right.
John Jones, because John Jones didn't fight last fight. I mean, he
that wasn't even a fight.
that wasn't even- so,
Cyril
John,
Gang got starstruck, man. He got
yeah,
starstruck.
yeah. So John Jones and Stipe Miocic before the end of the year.
Yeah.
And I'm still gonna say Jones is gonna win just because it's Jones.
John's gonna
Yeah.
win.
He-
I
he-
think that fight that fight has very, very good chance of happening. I think it's just about the money now, and once they get that bit there, oh my god, you know what?
that
Carl
was a
Roscoe,
knockdown dragger. Yeah,
that's a big one. That's a
yeah.
big one. You know what? I think that might take over my initial one of Islam and Leon Edwards.
Yeah.
I,
I go with
I,
this.
I'll go with this one. These
This
two
is
hate
phone,
each other as well.
this is phone booth right here. This is phone booth right here.
Serious.
Yeah,
These two absolutely hate each other.
yeah.
So yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one.
All
I
right.
fuck with that.
Awesome. Well, Ola, tell everybody where they can find you at, brother.
Yeah, man, people. If you love combat sport like we just been talking about, you love Arsenal, you're gonna find me on Lee Gunner's channel, my good friend. I'm always on there doing watch alongs with him. So anytime where you want to see us run commentary on stuff, go to Lee Gunner's channel and get us on the watch along. And my channel is the Fight Week Show right across the screen there. with the Fight Week Show on the YouTube channel. We're putting on content. We just got a big shout out from my good friend Black Panther. He won in a fantastic way, and on his post fight interview, gave the Fight Week Show a big shout out, man. And so big up to him as well. And salute to everybody that's joined us tonight. I mean this morning and this afternoon, and even if it's nighttime wherever you are, boss, I see you, my bro. Yeah. So thank you very much to Matt as well for bringing me on. I thoroughly enjoyed it, man.
This won't be the last time, brother. Will not be the last time. So we'll definitely be working together more in the future.
100%.
Tomorrow I'll be over on Lee's channel for my fan cam, and then I'll also Monday gonna have Tony Gunner Clark's gonna be in the building, and we're gonna be talking about that hoggling. Talk about that hoggling match.
Yeah, man. Big up Tony, man. I love Tony, man. Good brother. Good brother.
Yep. So we'll be talking on Monday, man. And of course, I'll probably be on with Jez if he does his post-match review discussion. So we'll be here, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, want to say thanks again for joining us this morning over here on the United States. Across the pond, good afternoon. Go get your tea and biscuits and watch some football, man. And we are out of here. Have a good one. Peace.
Salute to everyone.